Well, guess what? Over 25 million Americans are at risk of losing their health care as coronavirus pandemic rages. It's from CBS News, August 5th. Over 25 million Americans at risk of losing health care as coronavirus pandemic rages. It's been real hard for me. Oh, here's another headline. The Senate leaves until September without coronavirus relief deal. They're going to take off for a month almost. They won't be back till September.
And
they're
not worried about rent. They're not worried about food
or health
shelter,
care. Nothing. They're not worried about anything.
They have access.
They have everything. With talks stalemated, senators argued there is little reason for them to keep holding daily sessions. The House already left town and isn't expected to return until September 14th. So it is a month. If the Speaker of the House and the Minority Leader of the Senate decide to finally let another package move forward, it would take bipartisan consent to meet for legislative business sooner than scheduled, Mitch McConnell said, as he wrapped up the Senate until next month. Democrats entered negotiations with a package of approximately $3.4 trillion to $3.7 trillion and have offered to reduce that price tag by $1 trillion. Republicans in the White House have refused to move roughly from the $1 trillion package. So we said this when this all started. They're going to take care of Wall Street. They're going to take care of the rich oligarchs. They're going to take care of the corporations. And they're going to give you crumbs and fuck you over. And that's exactly what they did. And who's they? Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, and every Democrat in Congress. Because when they voted for the CARES Act, they voted for the largest upward transfer of wealth in the history of the human race, without getting anything in return. And now they can't get anything for you. Now you're going to get kicked out of your house. You don't have health care still. There isn't a job program still. The inaction comes as the unemployment rate is at 10.2%, down from the peak of 14.7%, higher than the peak during the Great Recession. There's no way that number's accurate. It's much higher than that. And the country continues to report tens of thousands of new coronavirus cases per day, including reporting nearly 1,500 coronavirus deaths on Wednesday, and what is the highest number of daily deaths since mid-May. 1,500 people a day died from coronavirus. So like every 2 days, it's another 9/11. Let's go home for a month. The stalemate is taking place less than 3 months before the November election, injecting more politics into the dynamic compared to the 4 previous coronavirus relief bills that passed the Senate with either no opposition or only a handful of no votes. So they've been handing out money, trillions of dollars left and right to the richest motherfuckers in this country, and there's been no opposition. Zero. In fact, it's been engineered by Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the Democrats. Vulnerable incumbents in both parties have sent warning signals this week to leadership that they need to cut a deal. Time to do that was with the CARES Act. You didn't do it. In fact, you voted for it. That's when Bernie Sanders sold you out and revealed his true colors, that he's a partisan hack who turned his back on his own movement. I like what Dan Price says. He says, corporations, we spent all our money on buybacks and dividends for a decade since the last crash. They spent a decade corporations spending all their money on buybacks and dividends for a decade instead of saving for a rainy day. Now the rainy day's here. Now the corporations are broke. Congress, here's $4 trillion. It's really 5. Regular people, we're broke. Congress, you should have saved more. We're going on a 1-month vacation. The people, we're broke. Save us. Fuck you. We don't work for you. Nancy Pelosi doesn't work for you. Mitch McConnell doesn't work for you. Chuck Schumer doesn't work for you. You idiot. Now go vote for them. There couldn't be a situation where it was laid bare more that this government is corrupt and is an enemy of you. They're not your friend. It's like a foreign power is occupying our country. Because it is. We are an occupied country. We're occupied by Raytheon, the military-industrial complex, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, and the health insurance and big pharma company. We are occupied. Now go vote for them. Now you have to go vote for them instead of revolt. You have to shut your mouth and revolt. You know who tells you to do that? Dictators. And so whenever you see a blue check motherfucker telling people to shut their mouth and vote, you tell them you'd feel more comfortable in North Korea. I'm saying don't vote. What if they had an election and nobody showed up? Trump would still be president, just like last time. 100 million people didn't vote last time. Nobody cares. We're in a failed state. And participating in these elections is pretending that it's not. It's pretending that somehow Joe Biden in Congress is going to fucking come around and somehow fix our problems when they're going to make them worse. Let's not forget that the Senate is made up of members of both parties. Both found time to fund the military expansion. That's right. Democrats and Republicans found time to expand Trump's military by $132 billion. They also found time to fund corporate bailouts before leaving vacation during a pandemic. When just last week, 30 million Americans did not have enough to eat in the richest nation in the world, and they're going on vacation. You still want to vote? You still want to vote and feel good? Because you're a sucker. You're a chump. They're not giving you health care in the middle of a pandemic, and you're going to vote for them? You're a chump. I love this. Here's Trump's military budget, and here's the Democrats. Turns out they're doing it to themselves. Hey, if Congress is going home for the next month, shouldn't we all follow their lead and go on a general strike? I think so. I would.
And hang out at their homes.
There isn't a leader in this country worth a shit. There isn't. Every one of them falls in line. Every one of them. Throughout this pandemic and economic meltdown, our government has repeatedly shown us that they don't give a shit if we die. They only care about their corporate overlords, the 1%, and their own reelection. We have nothing left to lose and everything to gain. I say don't vote and general strike. If you don't vote third party this year, if you're going to vote and you vote blue or red, you are a chump and a sucker. You're going to vote for a guy who's telling you right now, I am more loyal to the health insurance industry than I am to you. Vote for me. I care more about big pharma's profits than I do for you. Vote for me. I care more about the military-industrial complex than I do about you. Vote for me. I care more about Wall Street's profits than I do care about workers. Vote for me. Hey, fuck you. I'm not voting for you. We're a bunch of adult children of alcoholics in this goddamn country. We don't get mad at the guy fucking you over. We get mad at people like me who points out that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are fucking us over and pledge to. Joe Biden has pledged to keep fucking you over and denying you health care in the middle of a pandemic. That's how corrupt Joe Biden is. And the rest of the country is, their minds are, they're in such need of therapy. They're such abused children. It's what we are. We're a nation of abused children. Well, I need the protection. I need somebody to protect me from Donald Trump, so I guess I'll vote for this guy. I need someone to hug me. I need someone to hold me. I'll vote for this guy, the guy who vowed to deny you healthcare in the middle of a pandemic. And why did he do that? Because he thinks it's a better idea? No, because he's corrupt. And anybody telling you to vote for corruption is an abused child or an abuser. That's an abusive relationship. That's an abusive relationship. And I learned, and somehow I learned how to make strong boundaries as a kid, and I'm able to not fucking feel the heat from every other asshole in the world telling me I have to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I do not. And I fucking will not. I will not participate in corruption. I will not participate in blatant 100 in your face, in broad daylight corruption. I'm not going to participate in it. What this country, you really think things are going to get better when Joe Biden is president? You don't think there's going to be 27 million people in the street? You don't think 80% of America is going to be living paycheck to paycheck when Joe Biden is president? You think we're going to have health care when Joe Biden is president? We are not going to have health care when Joe Biden is president. It is going to take people in the fucking streets. So if you think voting for Joe Biden is going to make anything better, now who's being naive, Kay? You are. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.